Hello, gentlemen. Let me ask you something directly. Does it ever feel like you're playing by all the rules, but still losing the game? You've worked hard your whole life. You've been a provider, a leader, a man of your word. And now, in what are supposed to be your golden years, you're trying to do the right thing for your health. You eat the salads. You choose the grilled chicken over the fried. You listen to the mainstream advice that's been drilled into us for decades. Yet, something is off. The energy you used to have, that get up and go, it feels like a distant echo. The strength in your hands, the power in your body, it's not what it used to be. And intimacy, well, for many, that feels less like a joy and more like a source of pressure or a fading memory. You feel a quiet frustration, maybe even a sense of betrayal. You're doing everything you're supposed to do. So why do you feel like you're fading? What if I told you that this decline isn't your fault? What if I told you it's not just about getting older, but about being misinformed? What if I told you that 3 so-called health foods, very likely in your refrigerator or pantry right now, are the quiet culprits, secretly working against you? My name is Dr. Alan Rivera. For decades, my life's work has been dedicated to helping men, just like you, navigate the complex changes that come after 60. My mission here is simple: to cut through the confusing noise and have an honest conversation about what truly works to restore a man's vitality. We're not talking about magic pills or extreme fads. We're talking about foundational truths. And today, we begin by exposing 3 hidden enemies on your plate. What you are about to hear may contradict everything you've been told. And that's the point. The old rulebook isn't working. It's time for a new one. Enemy number 1. The hidden hormone hijacker on your plate. Let's start with the most controversial one. A food that wears a bright halo of health but can cast a dark shadow on a man's hormonal system. I'm talking about soy. Let me tell you about a patient of mine, Frank. Frank is a 69-year-old retired auto mechanic from Ohio. A man's man, with hands that have fixed 1,000 engines. He came to my office looking defeated. "Doc," he said, "it's like my own engine is sputtering. I've got no horsepower. My wife, God bless her, read that red meat was bad for my heart. So we started doing meatless Mondays and switching to healthier options. I'm eating tofu scrambles, drinking soy milk in my coffee. I should be feeling great, right? But I feel soft. The fire is gone." Frank's story is incredibly common. He was trying to protect his heart, but in the process, he was unintentionally sabotaging the very essence of his masculine energy. Why soy can disrupt a man's hormonal balance. Here is the straightforward truth. Soy is the world's richest source of compounds called phytoestrogens. Phyto means plant. These are plant-based molecules that, in the male body, can mimic the female hormone, estrogen. Now, as a man over 60, your natural testosterone levels are already on a gradual decline. That's a normal part of life. But think of your hormonal system as a finely tuned scale. On one side, you have testosterone. On the other, you have estrogen. Yes, men need a little estrogen, but the balance is critical. When you start pouring phytoestrogens from soy into your system, you're putting a heavy thumb on the estrogen side of that scale. The result? The balance is thrown off. For many men, this manifests as exactly what Frank described: persistent fatigue, a loss of competitive drive, reduced libido, and erections that are less firm and less reliable. The industry loves soy because it's cheap and it can be marketed as heart healthy. It hides everywhere, in protein bars, processed snacks, sauces, and meat substitutes. You're likely eating more of it than you realize. For Frank, the solution was simple. We replaced the soy with clean protein sources like eggs, wild-caught fish, and grass-fed beef. Within a month, he called me. I could hear the energy in his voice. "Doc," he said, "the garage is open for business again." Enemy number 2. The silent artery stiffener in healthy foods. The second enemy is even more insidious because it's not just one vegetable, but how that vegetable has been processed and weaponized in our modern diet. I'm talking about corn, specifically, highly processed corn. I am not talking about a delicious, fresh ear of corn at a summer barbecue. I am talking about corn oil, high fructose corn syrup, and corn starch, which are cornerstone ingredients in thousands of processed foods, from salad dressings to bread to so-called healthy margarine. I think of my patient Arthur, a 72-year-old retired accountant. Arthur was meticulous. He tracked his cholesterol, his blood pressure, everything. He proudly told me he had switched from butter to a vegetable oil margarine years ago because his doctor told him it was better for his heart. He avoided fat like the plague. Yet, he was in my office for erectile dysfunction and a crushing fatigue he couldn't shake. "I don't understand, Dr. Rivera," he said, frustrated. "I run my health like I ran my books, by the numbers. But the bottom line is, I feel terrible." Arthur's problem was a silent, smoldering fire inside his body called chronic inflammation, and his heart-healthy diet was the fuel. How chronic inflammation suffocates your blood flow. Here's the mechanism. Processed corn products are incredibly high in omega-6 fatty acids. Now, your body needs omega-6s, but they must exist in a delicate balance with anti-inflammatory omega-3 fatty acids, which you find in things like fish, walnuts, and flaxseed. Our ancestors evolved on a ratio of about 1:1. The modern American diet has a ratio of up to 20:1 in favor of inflammatory omega-6s. When this ratio is so wildly out of balance, your body enters a state of perpetual, low-grade inflammation. Imagine a tiny, invisible fire burning along the inside of your 60.000 miles of blood vessels. This fire damages the delicate, non-stick lining of your arteries, a layer called the endothelium. And what is the endothelium's most important job? It produces a miracle molecule called nitric oxide. Nitric oxide is the master signal that tells your arteries to relax and open, allowing blood to flow powerfully. When inflammation damages the endothelium, your nitric oxide production plummets. Your arteries become stiff and narrow. The result? Blood flow decreases everywhere, to your brain, causing brain fog, to your heart, increasing risk, and most noticeably for men, to the penis, making strong, reliable erections difficult or impossible. Arthur's healthy margarine, made from corn oil, was literally contributing to the arterial stiffness that was robbing him of his vitality. We switched him to healthy fats like olive oil, avocado, and real butter, and dramatically increased his omega-3 intake with salmon and a quality fish oil supplement. 2 months later, he reported not only better energy but, for the first time in years, the return of morning erections, a clear sign that his vascular health was improving. Enemy number 3. The mineral thief disguised as a superfood. This brings us to our third and final enemy, which is perhaps the most shocking because it is the darling of the health world. A vegetable that, when consumed in a specific way, can act like a tiny thief in your gut, robbing you of the single most important mineral for testosterone production. I'm talking about raw spinach, especially in large quantities. David, a 67-year-old patient, was a fitness enthusiast. He prided himself on starting every single day for the past 5 years with a giant green smoothie. He'd pack it with 2 huge handfuls of raw spinach, fruit, and some protein powder. He thought he was creating the elixir of life. But his blood work told a different story. His testosterone was low, and critically, his zinc levels were in the basement. "I eat zinc-rich foods," he told me, completely baffled. "Oysters, beef, I should be fine, but my libido is gone, and I just don't have that competitive edge anymore." David wasn't what he was eating, but what his body was absorbing, and his perfect health habit was the problem. The zinc robbery happening in your gut. Raw spinach is one of the highest food sources of a compound called oxalate. Think of oxalates as tiny, powerful magnets. When they travel through your digestive system, they bind to minerals, preventing your body from absorbing them. And one of the minerals they love to grab onto most is zinc. For a man, zinc isn't just a mineral. It's the very spark plug for the testosterone factory in your body. It is essential for the production of testosterone and for prostate health. So, with every sip of his giant, healthy raw spinach smoothie, David was unwittingly sending an army of mineral thieves into his gut to hijack the zinc before his body ever had a chance to use it. He was flushing the key to his manhood down the toilet. Does this mean spinach is bad? Absolutely not. Spinach is loaded with magnesium and other vital nutrients. The key is not what, but how. Simply cooking spinach, sautéing, steaming, or blanching it for just a few minutes dramatically reduces the oxalate content, breaking down their power and freeing up the minerals for absorption. We had David switch his morning smoothie for a 3-egg omelet with sautéed spinach and mushrooms. The change was remarkable. All right, we've spent enough time in the darkness. We've identified the enemies lurking on your plate. Now, let's turn on the lights. Let's talk about rebuilding. Let's talk about recruiting 3 forgotten heroes to your diet. Foods that actively restore your strength, your circulation, and your hormonal power. Hero number 1. The circulation champion, Beets. Our first hero is the undisputed king of circulation. If inflammation and stiff arteries are the enemy, then beets are your one-man army. They are nature's most potent source of dietary nitrates. When you eat beets, your body masterfully converts these nitrates into that miracle molecule we discussed, nitric oxide. Think of it this way. Poor circulation is like a kinked garden hose. You can have all the water pressure in the world, but only a trickle comes out. The nitric oxide from beets is like someone walking over and unkinking that hose, transforming it into a firefighter's cannon. It widens and relaxes your blood vessels, allowing oxygen-rich blood to surge to every cell in your body. Studies, like those published in the Journal of Nutrition, have shown that consuming beets or beet juice can significantly improve endothelial function and blood pressure. But here is the critical detail. You must consume them fresh. Roasting, steaming, or grating them into a salad is perfect. The pickled beets in a jar? They've been destroyed by high heat and loaded with sodium, counteracting the very benefit you seek. Hero number 2. The hormone guardian, broccoli, prepared correctly. Our second hero is a humble vegetable that, when prepared correctly, acts as a guardian for your hormonal balance. I'm talking about broccoli. Many men focus only on boosting testosterone. But the secret to vitality lies in the ratio of testosterone to estrogen. Our hero here is a compound found in broccoli called sulforaphane. Think of sulforaphane as a specialized cleanup crew for your body. It supports your liver in its most important job, detoxification. Specifically, it helps the liver identify excess estrogen and escort it out of your system. This prevents estrogen from building up and tilting that hormonal scale in the wrong direction. But here is the catch, and it is a big one. Sulforaphane is incredibly delicate. When you microwave broccoli until it's soft and mushy, or boil it into oblivion, you destroy nearly all of it. You're left with a lifeless stock of fiber, not the powerful hormonal protector your body needs. The solution? Steam your broccoli lightly for just 3 to 4 minutes, until it's bright green and still has a bit of a crunch. Or eat it raw with a healthy dip. This small change in preparation makes all the difference between eating an empty vegetable and consuming a powerful medicine. Hero number 3. The testosterone protector, mushrooms. This brings us to our third and final hero. And gentlemen, this one is your testosterone's personal bodyguard. I'm talking about mushrooms, and not some exotic, expensive variety. Simple, common white button mushrooms you can find in any grocery store. They contain natural compounds that have been shown in scientific studies, including at the Beckman Research Institute, to act as aromatase inhibitors. Let's go back to David, our smoothie enthusiast. After we fixed his zinc issue by cooking his spinach, he felt better, but not 100%. The final piece of his puzzle was an enzyme that becomes more active as men age, especially if they carry a little extra weight around the middle. That enzyme is called aromatase. Think of aromatase as an internal thief. Its entire job is to find your valuable testosterone and convert it into estrogen. As you age, this thief gets bolder and more efficient. This is where mushrooms come in. They don't boost testosterone production directly. They play defense. The compounds in mushrooms act like bodyguards that stand in the way of the aromatase enzyme, preventing it from stealing your testosterone. This means more of your testosterone remains free and active in your blood to do its job, to build muscle, to sharpen your mind, to fuel your libido, and to give you that feeling of solid, grounded strength. Adding sautéed mushrooms to his omelet was the final key that unlocked David's full vitality. Bonus tip: the mineral that unlocks your testosterone. Now, for those of you who have stayed with me, I promised you a bonus tip. We've talked about zinc, but there's another trace mineral that acts like a key to unlock the testosterone you already have. That mineral is boron. In your blood, much of your testosterone is bound to a protein called SHBG. Think of SHBG as a handcuff, keeping your testosterone inactive and unusable. Boron has been shown to reduce SHBG. By lowering SHBG, boron unlocks the handcuffs, increasing your level of free testosterone, the kind that actually matters for energy, strength, and libido. You don't need expensive supplements. Excellent food sources include raisins, dates, and avocados. Simply adding a handful of raisins to your snack or some avocado to your omelet is a simple, powerful strategy to ensure the testosterone you have is working for you. Your action plan. A simple summary for a stronger you. So, let's bring it all together. It's simple. Reduce or remove soy, processed corn products, and large amounts of raw spinach. Add and enjoy fresh beets for circulation, lightly steamed broccoli for hormone balance, and sautéed mushrooms to protect your testosterone. It's not about deprivation, it's about intelligent substitution. The message I want to leave you with today is one of hope and control. You are not broken. You are not too old. You have simply been operating with the wrong map. Today, you have been given a new one. Your health is in your hands, quite literally. On your plate, the power to feel strong, vital, and engaged with life again is not in a prescription bottle, it's in your kitchen. If this conversation was helpful, I ask you to do one thing. Share it. Share it with a brother, a friend, a man in your life who you know is struggling in silence. Your simple act could be the catalyst that changes his life. Please, take a moment to subscribe and click the bell, so you don't miss our future conversations. We are in this together. Thank you for your time and your trust.